What's up, guys? So in this video that we are going to study the discrete subgroup of Euclidean group. So to do this we need lots of preparation. So first we first need to say that as we proved before, that every element in E2 is a translation plus rotation, or not rotation, is an element in the orthogonal group. So let's write this bracket AB is something in orthogonal group and B is a translation. So if I realize this as a function, when you apply on two-dimensional vector, then just AV plus B. So now let's compute the composition. So if I have A, B, V, and A prime, B prime, this is AV plus B and A prime plus B prime. So when I expand it, I get A prime V, AV plus A prime B plus B prime. So if you write as a matrix, if you write as an element like this, you get A prime B plus B prime. So this is the composition rule. So for the orthogonal matrix, it's just this, but for the rotation one, this A prime will apply on B, and you get a B prime. Okay. So this is the composition rule. Okay. So to do this, so keep going. So to do this, so now we can consider a map. Let's call this map. So we have a Euclidean group, right? So we can construct a homomorphism. Let's say maybe use pi, not pi, maybe use phi. So this map phi map to the O2 by just mapping AB into A. So this is the check is that this is a homomorphism, because if I get this, but if I apply it here, the composition I get A prime A, and if I apply phi AB, I get A. If I apply phi A prime B prime, I get A prime. So obviously that this is a homomorphism. So let's compute the kernel. So the kernel of this is basically the set of A0, because if there's no, right, so the kernel, so basically the kernel, so the kernel, sorry, not this, so the kernel is A0, right, so the kernel is 0B, because the kernel is here that map to identity in the orthogonal group. So A should be identity. So I can identify this identity with translation to be all the translation. So this is the translation, which is can be used as a R square. So all translation is a kernel, right? So it's a normal subgroup of E2. Okay, so now with all these tools, then we are able to study the finite group, the discrete group. So let me define a discrete group. So a discrete group is the subgroup of E2, which does not contain, since it's discrete, right, does not contain any arbitrary small rotation and translation. So basically we want to study the discrete one, right? So I don't allow that you can do arbitrary small rotation and translation. Okay, so the difficult part is that we want to study the discrete group. Okay, so the first one I want to study is the simple one, which is a finite group. Finite group of E2. So notice that we already know that finite group of O2 is just Dn or Cn. And I want to prove that finite group of E2 is exactly as a finite group of O2. So the proof is very simple. So we first show that right. So let's say the finite group element is G, is a gamma. Okay. So I first show that there exists a point P on the plane such that GP equals to P for all G in gamma. Okay, proof is very simple. So let's consider P to be just the centroid. So I consider GP. G belongs to gamma and the number of gamma. So my claim is that So this is basically the centroid. So my claim is that GP equals to P for all G belongs to gamma. Okay, so proof. You just take just do direct computation. Okay, so it's 1 over gamma and G gamma G prime, and then you get G prime P. But this is the same as permutation of G, right? So this guy is still the same as G belongs to gamma GP. Yeah, so this is GP. Okay. Should G prime. Okay, so this is GP. So it means that there is this point which is invariance for all G in gamma. So now we can use the trick. So we just define let's say we do the TP inverse translation by negative P and gamma and the TP. So let's consider group gamma tilde. So obviously the gamma tilde is isomorphic to gamma. Because this is somehow the inner automorphism, right? This is inner automorphism. So this is indeed isomorphic. But any element in gamma, right? If you take let's say G tilde in gamma, it's basically written as TP G based on the original G and TP inverse. When you apply on 0, then it becomes TPG. Maybe I do this. Here, I do this one. Okay, then it becomes P, right? This is, I shift 0 to P, but G fixed. So it's TP inverse P. So it's P back to P. P translation with negative P, so it becomes 0. So this shows that TP inverse GTP plus 1 is always fixed origin. Okay, so TP gamma TP is a subgroup where isomorphic to gamma and isomorphic to subgroup of O2, and which shows that gamma is either Cn or Dn. Okay, so this means that if I study a finite group or Euclidean group, then it's the same as finite group of O2. So this is the finite group. Okay, so but to study the discrete group, back to the study the discrete group, we need to have some tool. Okay, so let's say here we have this kind of map. Sorry, this is O2, and the kernel is R squared. Okay, so now I can use a second isomorphism theorem. So second isomorphism theorem tell me that gamma intersection with R squared. So I collect all the translation in the gamma. Suppose gamma contains some translation. If not, then it basically is the finite group, right? If gamma contains some translation, then gamma intersection R squared will be the normal subgroup of gamma. And this is all translations. So it's all translations. Okay, so my question is the following. So let's say this is called T. So what's possible T? So basically I'm asking a simple one. I'm asking what's all the discrete subgroup of R squared. So in 2-dimensional, what kind of translational subgroup then that you can form. So to prove this rigorous is requires some complicated topology, but let me just tell you the results. So either T is 0-dimensional, there's no T here, or T is either 1-dimensional, so just some lattice times A, or T is some 2-dimensional object, two lattice for A and B, where A, B are linear independent. Okay, so for this one, it's easy to see that there's nothing to prove. And for this one, this is also simple. If T is if T contains like only one dimensional, then every element in T is some translation from one directions. Then there will be the small one, right? There will be a small one. Suppose it's 0 here, there will be a smallest one. Because if there's no smallest one, then that means that you can do arbitrary small translation, which violates T's discrete. And a similar proof will show that T must be in 2 dimensions the same, but this requires like detailed proof. But so let's assume that you only have like 3 of them. Okay, so these are all possibilities. Okay, and so this is the non-trivial one that we will prove in the next videos. That if T is non-zero, then this will force, and it will force Cn and Dn with particular n. So this is quite interesting. This shows us that if you say that you have non-trivial discrete subgroup of original group, then you are not allowed to do arbitrary arbitrary rotation in this gamma. You must do particular gamma. If your T is different, if your T contains some contains some lattice, so this is plays an important role in the so-called crystallographic symmetry, and we will do it for the next videos.